So today we're gonna be talking about why I'm going back to school, and I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about it. So I thought I'd bring my mom on because I'm nervous about it, and we'll get her 2 cents on the whole situation. So, how do you feel about me going back to school and all this? I told him before that I was, how I felt about college and the mental health implications and all of that went on. But, yeah.
Well, Adriana, I think that it's a good idea for you to finish while you're still young. Because as you get older, sometimes those dreams kind of dwindle away and you may or may not finish. And, from our prior discussions, we have found some good benefits in some of the classes that you've taken that could perhaps take you to another level in your career.
Yeah.
And you were exposed to things at your college that I had never heard of. Okay, all right, I guess that's nothing new. But to some news, and I am a old techie buff, but there was some classes that Adriana took that were, in my opinion, very, very interesting. And things are constantly changing, new software. The professors were very good in their craft, and then they had a lot of things going on outside of the university that I thought was very interesting. Because sometimes I would take her up to the university and I would hear some of the conversations on what the outside the classroom, of course, some of the things the professors would be telling the students. And I would say to myself, wow, I wish I had that when I was her age. I wish I had heard that, because at this age right now, it's very inspirational, even though I'm, about to retire at some point.
Yeah, and we've always talked about, that aspect of it, but for me, there has always been, mental health implications that come along with that. And when I decided to go back, I wanted to make sure I was, mentally okay in a good place, because I know that I would do better and get more out of it if I was. And so, while all those things you said are amazing, I feel like it kind of, all that kind of goes to the wayside if you're just, not doing well mentally. And I talk about this in a separate video, so if you want to see that, go watch that, and I talk about it more extensively. But how do you feel about my mental status as it relates to going back to school and all of that stuff?
Well, right now I feel like you're actually ready. It's taken a moment, and I think everybody should be mindful of that. That you may not recognize your mental health and the role that it plays on you being able to perform at a high level. You really do have to be mentally ready going to college.
Yeah.
The college is very, very demanding. They demand a lot out of the students. They want you to be very creative and to have a creative mind. You really got to have good mental health. And right now, I think you're ready.
Yeah, I feel like we're both in a good space to handle it.
Right.
And it coming from you means a lot to me. you're kind of like my moral compass on things. So it coming from you really means a lot to me. And I'll be honest, I had to do a lot of work, a lot of thinking, a lot of meditation, and a lot of praying, to be honest with you, because it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It's just I wasn't ready and in that space to do it. So yeah.
Well,
but
and most people don't know that we had a very, very close loved one, our daughter that passed, Adriana's sister.
Yeah.
And also during that period of time, Adriana got sick, which she was having some symptoms of some things, but we weren't sure exactly what it was. But I guess when she got stressed because of the loss, it just brought it all the way out, and she ended up having to have emergency surgery.
And all of this happens at once, and so I was kind of dealing with a lot of that, and and for me, I had to do a lot of soul searching, and it didn't come easy for me at all.
Well, Adriana, when you're going through a few things, it's kind of hard when you can't eat. She couldn't hardly eat.
Yeah, I couldn't eat.
That means you don't have any nourishment, which means you don't have any energy, and it start throwing a whole lot of other different things out of whack. That's not lined up very well. So, and I guess that's why we want to talk about it openly, so that if anybody else is going through this, it's not uncommon to sometimes you got to do a little time out, what I would call a time out.
Yep.
And then if you have to seek professional help, please do that.
Yeah, and then
do that and get some rest and eat and try to build your strength back up so that you can get to that happy place so that you can excel. Right now, I feel like I went through a few things myself, so far as even, we had COVID a couple of times.
Yeah.
And, this real thing about brain fog for me, let me talk about myself.
Yeah, I had brain fog too.
I had COVID, and it's like, it was one time I made a comment to my manager, I won't mention any names or anything like that, but, and I went back a couple of seasons. When I said seasons, a couple of years, it's like this person wasn't even my manager anymore. But it's like, and then I realized, oh man, this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I had read about all this brain fog when you have COVID. And when I recognized it for myself, I saw that it was real. It was really, really real. And so, you have to just nourish your brain and your body back to that place where it was, where it's no longer in your system, and hope and pray that you come out of it. Actually. Yeah,
because it was wild because we've had COVID twice now, and it was just wild, and we'll probably have to make a video on that too. But
maybe so. Who knows? I mean, the first time, we didn't have the medicine like they got now. The second time, I was able to overcome it in about a week. But the first time, whoo.
Yeah.
No, I had basically no medicine really. Just had to let it kind of halfway run its course. I was taking over-the-counter medicine. It was pretty bad. The only thing that it didn't do was I didn't have to go on a respirator. I just was able to recover at home. And eventually I took the test and it finally just passed. But after it passed, I was having some brain fog, and I was beginning to wonder whether or not I could even go back to work. Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, it was really bad. But and so you have to kind of just think about that when we're talking about the school thing and all these things that we're mentioning kind of played a role in my thought process, and I know hers as well, of like, can I actually do this? Am I physically and mentally fit enough to do it? Because it's like the Olympics for your mind. I mean, honestly, we really had to evaluate things, and all this to say, just evaluate everything before you go into it. And anything else you want to say?
Well, yeah. Well, the only other thing I was saying is that I wish you well, and I really do truly believe you're ready.
Yeah,
Ready to go back
I believe I'm ready
take that
too.
challenge. She's ready.
Yeah, I don't know when you guys are gonna see this video, but probably by the time you see this video, I'll probably be back in school. So y'all keep y'all's fingers crossed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.